Hey 49er fans, I'm Thomas Mott. Before we start today's video, the NFL Draft is less than 3 weeks away, and we are giving you guys, literally non-stop coverage here on the channel. So make sure you guys are subscribed, because as things continue to progress, we've talked about the Niners might be sending out some smoke screens about number 3 overall. If they are, if they're not, doesn't matter. We'll cover it here on the 49ers Report, so go ahead and subscribe down below. All right, 49er fans, in today's video, I want to jump into a full draft preview. We did one months ago, and I want to get back to the team needs. We'll also have a quick look at all the different prospects potentially of the Niners go ahead and take in the early rounds of the 2021 NFL Draft, which, as we said, is less than 3 weeks away. Like, really, this Thursday will be 2 Thursdays away from April 29th and the start of night 1 of the draft, which is honestly like the Christmas of the offseason. Absolutely cannot wait. Okay, let's go ahead and start with a quick pick review here just to refresh you on where the 49ers currently stand in terms of their draft picks. Number 3 overall, first round, obviously that's going to be an important one. How about number 43 overall? Almost equally as important, because you can get a really good player there in the second round. They have the third round draft pick, 102 is from the Rooney rule from Robert Saleh going to the Jets. They have a fourth, they have a fifth there at 155. Then you go over to the next 4, they have the 172, another fifth, one more fifth, so 3 in the fifth. I expect them to kind of trade around the 5th and 4th round with those picks, by the way. And then 2 in the 7th, 1 via the Jets, and then 1 of their own at 230 overall. So there is your full list of the 49ers draft picks, 9 in total, and plenty of ammo to go ahead and get hopefully a lot of good players, while also being able to move up and down the draft as they please. Quickly, before I get into the draft needs for the 49ers, as we talk about draft needs, it's important to note that the Niners don't have a lot of draft needs. Like, there isn't a position where you go, oh my gosh, like they have got to have a cornerback in this year's draft. Quarterback's a draft need, you'll see that, but it's not like they have to get one in order to be successful this year. The Niners are built to be very, very good, and I think they could literally skip the entire draft in general, which of course they won't and they shouldn't, but they could not draft anybody this year and still be a competitive playoff team based on the current roster that they have. So when I list the draft needs here, all of these can be moved around and reshuffled. These are how I see it, but I think a lot of people can agree that some other needs are bigger than others. But we can all agree upon the fact that 49ers don't have huge needs, so the list will be reflective of that. Let's start with the number 1 draft need. Now, does this mean that I think that quarterback is the number 1 need on this football team? No. I've talked about how you can win football games with Jimmy Garoppolo as your starter. We talked about how Adam Schefter has said Garoppolo will be the starter week 1 regardless of who they take at number 3 overall. But quarterback here is the number 1 need because we know that's what they're going to do with number 3 overall. See what I'm doing here, right? Like, I understand they're going to take a quarterback with their first round draft pick, which means they think it's a number 1 need, and so I will put it as the number 1 need right now currently on this roster. Now, the interesting thing is they have a lot of quarterbacks already signed. I mean, the money that they went ahead and gave to Nate Sudfeld says he's going to be on the 49ers roster. And obviously Garoppolo most likely going to be on the 49ers roster. So wherever this rookie quarterback wants to be in the overall depth chart, he's going to be competing in, and training camp is going to be interesting with how many quarterbacks they currently have ready to rock going into the offseason. Now, in terms of prospects, right, I think it's interesting in terms of how we rank the prospects, because I think this is the final ranking that I've had over the past couple of weeks. Lawrence and Wilson are 1-2. I think it's very simple. If Wilson's there at number 3 overall, they'll take him, but he won't be, so can't really worry about it. So you're left with the final 3. Justin Fields, Mac Jones, and Trey Lance. They're at 3, 4, and 5. As you know, I love Justin Fields. I think Justin Fields will be the pick at number 3 overall. However, the Mac Jones smokescreen, or at least the Mac Jones love, has been there for a while now, and so it's up to the 49ers to decide who they want. But of course, we know no chance at Trevor Lawrence, no chance at Zach Wilson. It'll just be Justin Fields, Mac Jones, or Trey Lance, and I feel very, very good that it will go ahead and be Justin Fields. Let me ask you guys this: who do you think is the, what do you think is the 49ers' biggest draft need? Right? Is it a quarterback? Is it someone else? If we keep going on this video, I want you guys to go down below and tell me what the 49ers' biggest draft need is, because I think it's up for debate, and because they don't have a lot of draft needs overall. Let's get into my number 2 draft need, and this has changed recently. Now, I'm going to be honest. It used to be corner, and then they went out and signed a bunch of cornerbacks in the offseason, and they shored up the nickel, they shored up the 2 outside spots, and you went, okay, so corner's not that big of a need. It still makes my list, but as you look at the rest of the roster, I think defensive end becomes their number 2 need overall. I think they could add another pass rusher, not just from a Nick Bosa health perspective, even though he looks good to go and should be ready to rock, but just from a depth perspective overall, can never have enough pass rushers, so I'll put it overall at number 2. Plenty of options. Will they be there at 45 or 43? Not sure, but you see them on your screen right now. Top 5 are Kwity Paye out of Michigan, Jalen Phillips out of Miami, Gregory Rousseau, also from Miami, Jason Oweh, and then Carlos Basham out of Wake Forest. There are a lot of pretty good pass rushers. Azeez Ojulari, not listed here, out of UGA. There are good options that will fall into the second round. And so I think it's a very real possibility of the Niners obviously taking a quarterback at number 3 because they will. That's set in stone. And then with their second-round draft pick, spending it on an outside pass rusher who falls a little bit, whether it's Phillips or Rose or Away or Basham or Ojulari or somebody else. I think there are some options right now for the 49ers to go ahead and get pass rusher in round number 2. But I will say it again, I'm not necessarily sold that DN is the number 2 need, but it is definitely up there as 2A or 2B, and I'll get to number 3, obviously, here in just one second. Before we go ahead and keep going, the official 49ers draft hats, the one you'll see the players, whoever they take, hopefully Justin Fields is number 3, but you never know. They will wear them on stage, are officially available. You see them on your screen right now, and honestly, not bad, because I'm telling you, the draft hats the past couple of years have been bad. This is the best-looking draft hat we've seen in a very, very long time. You can pick yours up right now at chatsports.com/49draft. As these, again, just came out, and there are a bunch of different styles, right? There's the trucker hat, which is what I like, because it fits my head better. The trucker hat fits a lot better. They have the fitted ones, the snapbacks. You can rep your Niners in any way you want, but you can wear the official hat the 49ers new players will wear whenever they are drafted on April 29th and beyond in this year's NFL draft. Again, chatsports.com/49draft. You can go and pick up the hat right now that hopefully your favorite draft player will wear as he walks across the stage and I guess fist bumps Roger Goodell. I don't know what's going to be with COVID, but these are the hats. Pick them up. Link will be down below in the description box. Okay, I mentioned that need number 3 could be need number 2. You could easily swap these two, and I will go back to the cornerback spot here. I said earlier, now, do you need a cornerback? Well, technically no, because I think they did a good job of signing Verrett and Mosley and K'Wan Williams, and you could feel very confident in those 3 going into the season. However, as we get into the later rounds, 2nd and 3rd, there are some really good options that could fall. Now, there's no chance the Niners have a chance at Patrick Surtain or J.C. Horn or Caleb Farley, as those are the top 3 cornerbacks who will be gone in the first round. Probably 2 or 3 of them gone by 15 overall, maybe even 16 or 17 based on what the Cardinals need at cornerback. But guys like a Greg Newsome or an Asante Samuel Jr. or a Sean Wade out of Ohio State will be there in round number 2. And so if you don't like any of the pass rushers that are left on the board at 43 overall and you are the 49ers, maybe you get a cornerback of the future, because even though they did sign Verrett and Mosley and Williams to contracts, none of them got a super long, 3, 4, 5-year deal. And so if you want to get a corner of the future, I'm still fine with it being here in the 2nd or 3rd round. I just put it a little bit lower just because I feel like they did more in free agency to address the cornerback spot than they did in defensive end. But again, if you want to argue that defensive end is less important than cornerback, I'm all ears and I'm fine with that. Just comment it down below. Let me ask you guys this, though. Round 2, think it'll be defense or offense? I mean, they could go wide receiver, which is actually a hint. It's our next thing we're going to talk about, but I think they're going to go defense here. But I'll see what you guys think. So if 49ers go offense or defense in round 2, type O down below for offense, type D down below for defense. And that leads us into need number 4. Yes, it is wide receiver. Not a top need, obviously. You were out of Brandon Ayuk last year. You had Deebo Samuel the year before. You're hoping Jalen Hurd is going to go ahead and be healthy, so you don't need a wide receiver early. However, if you're sitting at 43 and there's a Terrace Marshall sitting there, the 6'3" wide receiver out of LSU, maybe you pull the trigger and get Justin Fields or Mac Jones or obviously Jimmy Garoppolo, an extra weapon. Obviously, no chance at Jamar Chase. There's no chance at Devontae Smith or Jalen Waddle. I think Rashad Bateman will probably be gone in the first round as well. He's a really good receiver out of Minnesota. But then you got, like I said, Terrace Marshall out of LSU, Rondale Moore out of Purdue. There's the Toney guy out of Florida, Condavious Toney. I think that's how you say his first name. He's really, really good as well. Plenty of good wide receiver options in the later rounds. We've talked a lot here on the channel that the 49ers have talked about how they're going to address the wide receiver position at some point. Lose Kendrick Bourne in free agency. They'll get a receiver in this year's draft. I'm just curious how high up it's going to be, and I don't want it to be too high because I think defensive end and corner are a little bit more important. Okay, before we go ahead and get into the final need here, my top 5 list of 49ers draft needs, make sure you guys, again, are subscribed because the news and rumors are crazy right now. It's like every single day I'm checking the news and rumor, people I'm talking to, things I'm hearing, and trying to get you guys up to date. And so, to reward me, I guess, go ahead and subscribe down below. We appreciate all the subscribers here on this channel. As we get closer and closer to 35,000 subs, as we're just crazy size here on this channel. I appreciate each and every one of you guys and the ride that we've been on here regarding our 49ers. Okay, final draft need is going to have to be offensive line. Now, is that a left tackle? I don't know. Is it a guard? I don't know. Is it a center? Probably not, but maybe. Is it a right guard? Right tackle? Like, I say offensive line, I combine all 5 positions into one. I think they're going to add an offensive line at some point in this draft. They will not be anyone early. There will be no chance at a Penei Sewell or Rashawn Slater or even Christian Darrisaw. I think there will be options for later round draft picks. There's a couple out of Alabama that I like that could be pretty good. Alex Leatherwood is a good example of that. Guy like a Walker Little in round 2 could be an option as well. I think they do need to add some depth on the offensive line, but I think they feel good about what the offensive line currently stands, kind of like what they're at with corner right now, right? They have their 3 starters. If someone falls and it's someone you can, play for the next 10 years, then sure, take him. Doesn't have to start this year. Maybe he does. Either way, I don't see that offensive line as a massive, massive need, but I do think that it is I think it's a big enough need to go ahead and add on this list. Let me just say this quickly here. There are obviously other needs. You can make a case they could want to go ahead and add a safety, make a case they could add a running back in later rounds, even though I don't think that they will. But these are the top 5 needs I think that they will address and have a really good opportunity to address based on the draft picks we talked about earlier. I mean, first and second round, obviously a third, a fourth, and then 3 fifths. You can use some of those fifths and move up. Hopefully some extra third or fourth round draft picks will go ahead and come. But I think that these overall draft needs, when we go back to the list of quarterback, defensive end, cornerback, wide receiver, and O-line, are all the 5 biggest needs. It can be debated on where you want to move them around, but these are the ones the Niners need to go ahead and address in the draft, and I feel pretty confident that they will be able to do so. Let me end on this. Who will the 49ers draft at number 3 overall? Give me a name down below, probably a quarterback. Is it Mac Jones, Justin Fields, or Trey Lance? Again, I like to kind of gauge where you guys are at on that one, but for the 49ers report, I am Thomas Mott. All the time we have for today. I want to jump on here and give you guys a full draft breakdown. Plenty of more news and rumors in the upcoming days and weeks, as well as our Thursday live Q&A, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 3 p.m. Pacific. Stay tuned for that. Again, ultimately out for today for the 49ers report. I'm Thomas Mott, signing off for the rest of your day.